let's get started. Hi, everyone. So we have Father. Father is on the top of our head here. We're going to just tap here. This is Father or Dad. This is Mom. Down here. To show generational, like a grandpa, it's like a dad, but he has a longer way to go. So he's lived through some stuff. Same with Grandma. She's here. She's lived through some stuff. So Dad, Mom, Grandpa, Grandma. I find that it's really helpful if I actually do it along. You can watch, of course, but if you actually do it, it's gonna just kind of really sink into your body quicker. So I invite you to do it along with me, but you can just watch if you want to. So we did Dad, Mom, Grandpa, Grandma. We have Son. So there's kind of two signs that we use a lot to make base words, and that is like boy and girl. So boy is just kind of like you have a brim of a cap, and then girl is like a bonnet string. And so you just take your thumb and you rub it along where you would tie your little bonnet. So this is boy, this is girl. And that becomes helpful to know because then we start adding things on to that. For example, like the next one is son. So it's like the boy sign. And then you go like you're cradling a baby. You put your hand kind of in the crook of your arm. So this becomes son. This is daughter. Yeah. My mom tried to call me. So this is brother. And then this is the sign for the same. So like if you're saying, oh yeah, that's the same as this. So I think that's kind of representing people being from the same family. So you would say, oh, that's a brother, or that's a sister. You guessed it. Yeah. Husband. The sign for marry or marriage is just two hands coming together in holy matrimony. So if you're talking about a husband or a wife, we have a husband. We have a wife. Yeah, so let's review those real quick. We have father, mother, we have grandpa, we have grandma, we have son. We're going to carry that little baby. We have daughter. We're going to carry that little baby. She's so cute. Brother and sister. So we have the boy unit, the girl unit, husband, wife, and now we are going to add to that. Now we have uncle and aunt. So uncle, we take the letter U and we put it up here, and aunt, we take the letter A and we go down here. Do, 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 do. Yeah, uncle, aunt. Very, very nice. Nephew and niece, we make the letter N, and nephew is up here, niece is up here. So there is kind of a gender line right about the nose that divides kind of male signs and female signs. And that's just to keep things clear. So if I was talking about a niece, I'm here. And if I'm talking about a nephew, it's up here. And if it's a non-gendered niece or nephew, I think it's around here. I'm going to ask someone who knows more about this for me. Okay, so when we're talking about two parents, our mom and dad, we're going to make a P with the hand, and we say parents. Parents. Yeah. All of these signs are family signs. To say family, we're going to make an F, and we're going to go around like a group of people. So this is the sign for family. Family. Yeah, you guys are doing great. Family. Family. Yeah, then we have cousin. Cousin is just the letter C, and we put it by our face. So if we're talking about a male cousin, it'd probably be up here, female cousin down here. Perfect. And then if we're going to say like family-in-law, we make an L and we slide it down our left hand. That's a sign for law. So if I'm talking about a brother-in-law, brother-in-law. Yeah, so a man from the same family, and yeah, by law, he's married to my sister. And so that would make him a husband. So what's that sign? Husband or wife. Very, very good. Going on. So the sign just for man, if you're talking about a man, starts up here and then comes down to the chest. So man, woman. Yeah, I bet you guys are really picking up this quickly. Man, woman. If we're talking a little more formal setting, we have gentleman or we have lady. A lady or a gentleman. We do the sign for like boy or girl. So a gentleman is here, and then we just make a small little circle with our hand here. So gentleman and lady. Ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, very, very nice. If you're just referencing a person like him or he, you just point. So if it's a man, you would say he or him. Same for a lady. If it's a she or a her, she or her. Very nice. So kind of like the sign for parent, we make that P, and we did like the grown people, the parents. The sign for adult is very similar. So we make an A and go from the top to the bottom. A, so that's the sign for adult. The sign for parent was up here. The sign for kids or children, a child, you pretend like you're patting them on the head. So you go, oh, nice. And if you're talking about a group of kids, you could pat several kids on the head. A baby or an infant, you imagine you have the most beautiful baby in your arms. Who's a baby so nice? That's a sign for baby or infant. A more casual way of saying kids is this, and it kind of refers to like runny nose. So you're like, the kids. So children, child, baby, infant, or kids. Bachelor, you make the sign B, and you start on the right side of your mouth and you just swipe it over to the left. Bachelor. Bachelor. Sweetheart, lovers, or like if you have a beau. The hands go together. It's kind of almost like a thumb war. But yeah, you're just, oh, they're lovers, they're sweethearts. And this is kind of non-gendered. It can be anyone. Sweetheart, lovers. Engaged, if you and your sweetheart want to take it to the next level, and I know you probably do, you make an E for engaged, and then you hover it over your left hand, and then you stick it on that finger. So if you don't want to be a bachelor, you need to get engaged. Engaged. Marry or marriage, we talked about this already. Just the hands coming together in holy matrimony. If you're a husband, wife, very, very nice. But the actual wedding ceremony comes together like this. It has a little more pageantry to it, like a wedding should. So this is marry or marriage, but if you're actually having a wedding, it comes together like this. The sign for if things don't work out and you want to get a divorce, we make two D hands, so for D for divorce, and we represent like two people together, and then they turn away from each other. So if they don't want to be engaged, they don't want to be married, they don't want to have a wedding, they had all those things, and now they want to separate, they make the D for divorce, D, and then they turn away from each other, divorce. And if they stay married and they decide to have kids and they have twins, we make a letter T, and it starts on one side of the mouth and goes to the other. That's twins. That's twins. So like the sign for bachelor, twins. Oh my goodness, that's a good TV show. The Twin Bachelor. there'd be 2 rose ceremonies. That would be intense. Oh my goodness. Did I just come up with an amazing idea? I think I may have. That idea is cute, which is 2 fingers. Oh, it's cute. Cute. That's the sign for cute. I think that's a cute sign. Other or another or another, other or another, you just show another option. So like you have an option over here your thumb is pointing to, and you're like, you know what, I think we should do another option. Another option on the, oh my goodness, I'm still kind of on that twin bachelor idea. That's what they could say. They could say like, do you want this rose or do you want another option? Because we have 2 bachelors. Now there is, kind of transitioning to another topic. There are signs that have to do with like a personhood, and we show person by just kind of bringing our hands down. So our hands kind of flat and they just come down, and that shows a person. So if I kind of think of it sometimes as adding an ER to things. So for example, the sign for teach is you're taking the knowledge in your head and you're sharing it with someone else, so you're teaching. But if I am a teacher, I teach, and then I'm showing that it's a person. So this is a teacher. Right now, people who live close to you, they live near and they're neighbors. So this is a sign for neighbor because it's something coming near to you, and then you make it a person. So that person comes in handy. You typically use that quite a bit. Another way to say person is making the P hands and just dropping them down. Person. People, you make the P hands and you just kind of make 2 little circles with your hands. So, and that's kind of the sign for people just like mingling about. But with the quarantine happening, I feel like this is kind of the sign for people. This would be like people in our cultural moment. So instead of people mingling over here, I just made that up, but that's free of charge. If you're referring to a hearing person, the finger comes kind of from under the nose by the mouth and just makes a circle. And it just kind of indicates that person probably could learn to speak easily. So it's a breeze. It's a breeze to be able to be a hearing person. If you're talking about an individual, it's the letter I coming down. So if you're talking about the actual word person is a P. If you're talking about a personal ending, it's flat hands. And if you're talking about like an individual person, just thing like this. Yep. Here is a very useful word coming up next. It means group, association, team, class, audience, company, society, department, organization. It's one of those kind of words that has so many different, it can mean so many different things in context. Basically, you make a C with your hands and then you circle it around. And it's basically showing like a group of people. I think of it as class, like because of the C. So like if you're going to class and there's a lot of people, or a crowd of people. And it's very similar to a word that we already learned, family. So a group of people, family, if you make an F, family, or family, or a group of people. Oh, this is a great one. The next word is friend. 2 people coming together. And a friendship is mutual, so it's not just one person liking the other person, it's both people. So you do both sides, friend. And if you're really good friends, you make that face. You lock it in. If you guys are enemies, say you're friends and then you become enemies, you want to go away from each other. So this is the sign for enemy. And you show that they're a person by dropping your hands. So enemy, foe, opponent, rival, someone you're going to lip sync for your life against. We only got a few more. You guys are doing great. Name. So if you're asking someone's name, it's two fingers like this coming down on top of each other. What's your name? Who? You just circle your lips. If someone is famous, like the winner of the twin Bachelor show, famous. And that's kind of like their name is going out to the world. So fame, fame. If someone is a hypocrite, they show two sides. So you see one thing, but you kind of see the other. So that's a hypocrite. If there was a famous person who was two-sided and a hypocrite or an imposter or a fake, that's how you would say it. If someone's a robber, if someone robbed you right now, you would show their beady little mustache. So this is robber, bandit, burglar, crook. Generation, if you want to show generations, you just kind of say that, oh, this came after this, came after this, came after this, came after that. And that kind of goes back to the grandfather or grandma. This was dad. But if we're showing multiple generations, you kind of say, oh no, they came before us and before us. Grandma, again, grandma came before us. So if you're talking generationally, you're talking, yeah, it came before us. If you want to associate with someone or mingle, it's kind of two people getting to know each other. Yeah, we're mingling. It's socialize. So right now we're not socializing. We want to stay away from each other. We went over the sign a little bit when we learned ladies and gentlemen. Gentlemen, ladies. And this just means polite, courteous, manners. We got a few more pronouns, and then we're done with the lesson on family, people, and pronouns. So we have I, if you're talking about me, myself, and I. If you're talking about me, you point to yourself. If something is yours, like that's my quarantine snack. My. I, me, my. If you're talking about myself, you make an A hand and you kind of point it to yourself. So me, I, me, my, mine, myself, you point to someone. If it's you plural, you bring your hand on from your left side and kind of bring it around. So you, yeah, I'm talking to all of you. You, if I'm talking to you, I'm talking to you, singular. Yourself, herself, himself, itself, oneself, themself, yourselves. You just take that A hand. This was myself, but if you're talking to anyone else other than yourself, you just kind of point it out. So yourself, theirselves, itself, himself, herself, themselves, yourselves. Our, if you are talking about our quarantine snacks, not my quarantine snack, but these are our quarantine snacks. You just take that B hand and you show inclusivity that this is ours. My quarantine snacks, our quarantine snacks. Ourself. His, her, their, or yours, singular. You take your hand and show someone else. So this would be hers, his, theirs, yours, singular. If you're talking about we come around. We. This is I find myself using this one a lot. Like, oh, we feel this, or we have quarantine snacks. Or, yeah, I find that in just conversation, I use that sign a lot. We. They, them, those. It's just a referring sign. So we, they, them, those, someone or somebody, something, like this. Just the index finger, someone, somebody, something. Every, or everybody, or the sign for every, left hand, and then the right hand kind of acknowledges that. So every, and you can say everyone, everybody, everyone, everybody. Very nice. Any kind of swings like this. So that A hand, any. And you can have anyone, anybody, anyone, anybody. And then if you're just referring to objects, some of the pronouns that refer to objects are this, like this is my quarantine snack, this. And then if someone was like, that snack, that is that Y hand just coming down. And it just, it's kind of like law, where we want it to like show this is formal. And I think like if you were in a state of, you know, if you were in law, you would say, yes, this is this. You're like, that is exhibit A, that is exhibit Y. We just got two more. We have anything, anything. And the sign for thing is just like you're holding something in your hand, and you show a couple options. So it's like this in your hand, or maybe that or that. So thing is just a couple things in your hand. So if it was anything, anything. Awesome. One last word. And the word is a Stephen King horror film title. It. The pinky comes and it points to the opposite hand. It. There you go. That's your ASL for the day. I am using this book, Signing Illustrated by Mickey Flodin. This is, let's see what edition this is. I think this is like the 4th or 5th edition. This was a textbook that I used back in the day, and I love it. Oh, before we go, I am going to